Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. I want to thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, viewing, watching, and listening. I truly appreciate it. And yes, we are back. We are going to be talking about more as far as free, exclusively, whichever. And yes, be sure to check out Patreon and Spotify, if anything, as far as for exclusives and free content. So, yes, thank you so much. I want to talk about another album. Let's continue here. As far as with pop artists, we have talked of a collective, more or less, of R&B, and we will get back to it. But we're going to continue to talk about pop today. So today we are going to talk about Plastic Hearts by Miley Cyrus. So let's do it. So, Plastic Hearts is the seventh studio album by Miley Cyrus. It was released on November 27th, 2020 by RCA Records and was her final album with the label. She signed with Columbia Records in early 2021, marking a departure from Cyrus' previous releases. Plastic Hearts is primarily a rock pop, synth pop, and glam rock record, with influences from country, punk rock, new wave, arena rock, industrial, disco, and power pop. Most of the album was produced by Andrew Watt and Louis Bell, with further collaboration with Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt. Guest vocals include Dua Lipa, Billy Idol, Joan Jett, and Stevie Nicks. So this album was literally like recorded from 2018 to 2020, and it was really, within the pandemic where she was like literally being like, all right, I gotta get this out. And rightfully so, because at the time a lot was going on, a lot was shifting. Streaming was really becoming more of a thing. Plastic Hearts debuted at #1 on the US Billboard Top Rock Albums chart, and #2 on the Billboard 200, and received positive reviews from music critics. So it was a great step forward, if you will, as far as from Younger Now and her previous work. Like, it literally was letting people know, like, I'm an adult, like, I'm grown, okay? Not that her Younger Now album didn't already show that. It was a cleaner way, as opposed to Bangers being more of a straightforward way. This was a bit more cohesive as far as with theme and tone, and wanting a sense of liberation. Yeah, just being more free, okay? So yes, 3 singles were released from the album: Midnight Sky, Prisoner, and Angels Like You. As of October 2023, Plastic Hearts has surpassed over 3 billion streams on Spotify, marking it the most streamed rock album of the decade on the platform. Legend, okay? That is legendary. But yeah, feeling distant from the mainstream urban culture, she explored on Bangers 2013, and the musical experimentation of Miley Cyrus and Her Dead Pets 2015. Cyrus decided to go for rootsy country music elements while making her 6th studio album, Younger Now. The album was released on September 29, 2017. To lukewarm critical and commercial performance. It received an average score of 58 out of 100 on Metacritic and charted at #5 on US Billboard 200, with first week sales of 60,000 copies and 66,000 overall album equivalent units. So hearing that, right, and this album is released and it does better, okay? It was like a lot of people go through in each era, because a lot of times we do realize with people that they don't always go number one. They may be in the top 10. And you say to yourself, like, no, this is an era. This is still something that is solidifying them in culture. So, and that's all around too. So, its lead single "Malibu" became her ninth top 10 single on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, while the title track peaked at number 79. Cyrus confirmed there would be no further singles only 1 month after the album was released, and that she would not be touring for it. So she didn't want to really tour for Younger Now. 2 weeks prior, 2 weeks prior to Younger Now being released, Cyrus claimed that she was over the album and was already 2 songs deep on the next one. However, she later said that she began working on the album in early 2018. In December 2019, Cyrus acknowledged that the musical direction of Younger Now wasn't exactly the home for her, and credited Ronson with helping her carve out her sound while where she could do everything that she wanted, which is more modern. Cyrus later cited Britney Spears and Metallica as musical influences on the album. So yeah, like it just became very clear that she wanted to like experience things in a more broader way now with music. This is in the midst of course, her divorce that she's having, well, had, and coming out with "She Is Coming," that that was gonna be what the theme was at first, as far as with "She Is Here," from what I was thinking at first. I'm not sure, but "She Is Coming" was released on May 31st, and "She Is Here" in the summer, and "She Is Everything" in the fall was what was going to be going on. It was going to be a trilogy, and she gave us an EP, and then within a year's time, we get just a whole new album, retrospective, and here we are. And I didn't disagree with it, because I feel like for the direction that she wanted to go, again, she didn't want to completely dive into one way as opposed to starting a new way, and doing it right. But yeah, so as far as the critical reception, it wasn't too bad, and indicating that there was generally favorable reviews. So it got a score of 75, which is actually better than 58. Okay, so that's pretty good as far as for the metrics go. Let's talk about, so the album was a commercial success, although in the United States, physical copies of Plastic Hearts were unavailable on the release date due to major retailers' stock limitations of physical music in anticipation of Black Friday, on which the release date fell. So had this had been released on a different week, it may have possibly could have went number one, only because there would have been possibly more shipments for people to go and get it in the midst of even getting it, where it's like, oh, Black Friday, so it's just promotion and album releases, they can very much vary, and I can't disagree with how things can go. It's not my contract, it's not my album, okay, and that was something that she was saying to herself, I'm gonna do different from here, because she gave us Endless Summer Vacation, I believe was the next album. I believe so. Yes. So there was a step forward from here as well, where it came to her feeling as though there has to be something more. Cyrus stated that she and her team had not been informed of these expected distribution disruptions when selecting the suggested November 27th date, adding that she was equally, if not more frustrated than her fans. Didn't I tell you? If it were to have been released a week earlier, or 2 weeks earlier, or when they at the time had already was starting to package the album, had said to themselves, okay, no, November 27th, that'll be good. All right, Black Friday, it should be okay. Even though we got a lot going on, we got to wear masks, we'll figure it out. It gets to that time, and there's more albums that were released prior to that Black Friday time, and yeah, it's not fair. If you ask for in my opinion, it's not fair. Because nowadays, of course, you don't always see people selling physicals. They make it a certain way where they want you to go on their website, okay, and actually, purchase. And I can't say that's a bad thing, because no, you don't want to always have a digital copy. You want to also have something you can hold. Why not? But yeah, nevertheless, the album debuted at number 2 on the U.S. Billboard 200 with 60,000 album equivalent units, making it her 9th release to chart within the top 5 and her highest charting release since Bangers. Okay, so this was letting people know she back, like for real. Like, never mind Dead Pets and never mind Younger Now. This was letting people know, like, I'm here. I'm still here, girl. Don't sleep on me. And like I said, with it being 60,000 album equivalent units, had it had been released a little sooner, and people were able to be aware, like, hey, I'm gonna go and get this album and still stream it, and then by Black Friday there's still copies that are still being shipped, as opposed to what's already being showed here. It's like, yeah, that would have worked. And even she may have felt that, and I support her if she did. During its second week of release, Plastic Hearts dropped to number 12 with sales of 37,500 copies, and dropped to number 20 in its third week after moving 31,000 units. So, like I was saying, if there may have been more copies, like previous to the date that they were suggesting, and they had that particular date, there would have been a surge. And this is with any artist. I'm not even going to say like it's just with her, because a lot of artists really go through this type of situation where it's like, it don't even be the album, it don't even be the sense of the person. It could just be the timing and how much it's impacted on the general public. Like, is it gonna be something that people want to go and get? And I hate that when it comes to artists that really be passionate, because they be just wanting y'all to have the music. Like, they really be wanting y'all to just be like, get into it, like, listen to me and let me know how you like it. And nowadays people got to go to the extremes of telling y'all within 2 weeks prior and having it digital, because nowadays people be leaking. They just don't mind trying to, leak even a piece of a song from the album and already giving out the essence of the album. And it destroys, the sense of people really taking in an album without feeling like they got to listen to it because someone already put it out, and I hate that. I didn't always agree with the sense of people downloading online when it came to the 2000s. No, I felt like, no, like, they really, and I said this already, I said, like, they really, damn near went bankrupt with all that. Like, people weren't making no money with that going on. Additionally, the album became Cyrus' first entry and chart topper on the Billboard Top Rock Albums chart, with 7 of its songs entering the Hot Rock and Alternative Songs chart. According to weekly chart data from the Rolling Stone Top 200, Plastic Hearts has moved over 406,000 units in the U.S. since release as of May 2021. Plastic Hearts debuted at number 4 on the UK albums chart with sales of 15,318 units. In Canada, the album debuted atop the Canadian albums chart, making it her 4th number 1 and 9th top 10 album on the chart. Okay, so the UK and Canada, they love them some Miley, and for this album to peek in, and not even just peek in, but be in um, the rock and alternative songs. It is a big deal because with songs that she's already previously done, it's been more or less pop, or kind of getting into an R&B sense just a little, but more or less pop and slightly rock and pop rock. And so with this being more of a more forward rock album, it's letting more listeners into her, um, and so and it did have impact. But yes, let's look at the track list. So track one is yes, WTF Do I Know? Okay, what the fuck do I know? Ooh, okay. Two is track two is Plastic Hearts. Track three is Angels Like You. Track four, Prisoner, featuring Dua Lipa. Yeah. Track five is Give Me What I Want. Now that's slept on. Track six is Night Crawling, featuring Billy Idol. Track seven, Midnight Sky. Track eight, High. Track nine, Hate Me. Track 10, Bad Karma, featuring Joan Jett. Track 11, Never Be Me. And track 12, Golden G String. So this album was, similar to being short, like Younger Now, 12 tracks. And I don't see why not, besides remixes and live performances. No, like I think that this was a good amount of songs for people to take in, because she's came out with deluxes and had and mind you, there was a deluxe edition, digital bonus tracks, which was Edge of Midnight, Midnight Sky remix featuring Stevie Nicks, Heart of Glass, that was from the iHeart Festival. But there's it was a total of 15 in total with bonus tracks. And I think that a lot of times that later on down the road, where you're having anniversaries and you're saying to yourself, you know what, they can listen to this now. It's like, it's a big deal because it's more valuable over time. But yeah, this album I feel like is a good album. I think that a lot of times people listen to this album and kind of refer to the fact that this is hand in hand with all of her eras, and it, the more the better. It brings out more of your artistry. I've always said that with every artist. So I thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will definitely be back with more.